Hi guys, it's Annette. And today I'm refilming the second part of my American haul because I was lazy and didn't feel like editing the second part when I filmed it about a month ago. I don't have the full-length film anymore because it was my birthday at the end of September. So I've accumulated a few more books since the American haul. Like I said, there is a lot of books to get through. Let's just get into the haul. I start with the Barnes & Noble leatherbounds because that's what I promised to show you. So these are the children's ones. The first one I bought was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. I do have several copies of this, but I just couldn't resist this because it's so pretty. And it has like these silver sprayed edges as well. So I got that one. Then I got Peter Pan. Another gorgeous edition. I think they're bringing out like a new edition of the children's classics as well, because the spines of these two don't match the spines of these. So, but the third one is the Blue Fairy Book by Andrew Lang, which my mom bought for me before I came to Miami. And I think this one is supposed to include like fairy tales from around the world. So there's like some fairy tales from the Western tradition, and then there's probably some stories from like the Arabic traditions and so on. So then another book my mom got for me is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. And yeah, another children's classics. These all have like the silver spray edges. Then I got Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. It looks like that. And The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. And it is gorgeous. And moving on to the large leatherbound classics from Barnes & Noble, I got the classic fairy tales from Hans Christian Andersen. Absolutely gorgeous book. Then I got the Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales, and this one is really nice as well. And then I got Jules Verne, 7 novels. This is massive. You could probably kill someone with this book, but so nice. Also, I got the Arabian Nights, which I've been wanting to get the longest time. And yeah, the Rat and the Dawn, which is based on one of these Arabian Night stories, is one of my favorite books of this year. So I'm interested to read all of these, and this book has absolutely gorgeous illustrations as well. So well worth the money spent on it, which I think it was about $20 or something, or $15. Also, I got The Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. This has the first 3 books in the Vampire Chronicles series. I've almost read the Vampire Lestat one years ago. I have the paperback edition, which is really damaged. And I've seen the films of The Queen of the Damned, An Interview with the Vampire, but I don't think I've ever read the book, so hopefully I get to these soon. And the last one of the large leatherbound ones is The Jurassic Park and the Lost World by Michael Crichton. And yeah, I love this cover. It's so cool. And I love the films as well. A few more of the leatherbound classics. These were all in the sales section, so I paid probably like $1 or $2 for these. I got Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I really love this cover as well. Looks really spooky with the lightings and stuff. And this one has kind of like grey sprayed edges. Then I also got The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. with the red sprayed edges. I think this is something about the Puritan society in the 17th century, something, I think, in America, where a woman has a extramarital affair or something and gets pregnant, and yeah, you can imagine the outrage. Then the last leatherbound classic I got is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain, and again sort of grey sprayed edges. And a couple of more kind of leather-bound books I got for free when I bought my new bookshelf, which you can see in the background now. Basically, the person selling the bookcase was nice enough to tell me I'm free to take as many of the books on the shelves as I want. I didn't take that many because most of them are kind of like random Finnish books that I'm not really interested in, but I took these because I like the spines of them. So these three, which are the compiled works of Johannes Linnankoski, I think is quite like considered one of the classic authors in Finnish literature, but I'm not sure. I'm quite sure I've read one of his stories when I was in high school, but it was a long time ago. But now I have his compiled works. And the other two I got are these two, which is basically parts 7 and 8 of the Finnish history. The best part of this book is that there's like these old adverts which are really funny to read. So one of these books actually had a card inside it, and this one is signed for 26th of June 1937, so that's pretty awesome. And yeah, these books were for free, so now they looking nice on my bookshelves, basically. Alright, moving on to the other books I bought from Miami. So there's Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson, a contemporary read. I don't know much about the plot, but I've heard good things about it, so I got it. Then I read Maybe Someday by Colin Hoover, and I wasn't too impressed. But then Brianna from Gusher Books said that if I didn't like Maybe Someday, I could enjoy Ugly Love by Colin Hoover. So I got Ugly Love, which tells about this no strings attached relationship, and you basically learn why the guy is so averse to having a real relationship with the girl. And yeah, I really like this much more than Maybe Someday. So I got a bit excited and I decided to get Confess by Colin Hoover as well. This one has like quite cool artwork inside the book. And I also got Hopeless by Colin Hoover. So let's see if I like them better than Maybe Someday. I think Maybe Someday for me was a bit too cheesy, so I didn't enjoy it that much. Then I got The Interestings by Meg Wolitzer, which I've been wanting to read ever since it came out a couple of years ago, I think. So I finally decided to get it because I've seen some booktubers read this recently and they've really enjoyed it. So and this tells about 6 teenagers who meet at a summer camp and become friends, and I think it follows them through the years, kind of what happens to them and that sort of thing. I got a couple of road trip novels. The other one is Mosquitoland by David Arnold. This one, I think the main character has to move in with her dad and a stepmom or something. And she learns that her mom is quite sick, so she decides to go and see her. The cover is quite cool because it continues to the other side. And the inside flap as well has some, I suppose, photos from the road trip. I don't know. And the other road trip novel I got was Kissing in America by Margot Rabb. And in this one I think the girl has lost her dad recently, and she's been kind of like finding comfort in reading romance novels, and she basically ends up falling in love with this guy, I think, and the guy decides to move to the other side of United States without telling a word to her, and she decides to go after him, which I think is not gonna lead to anything good, but I really like this cover. It's so cool. Then I also got To All the Boys I've Loved Before and P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. I wasn't sure about these. I've heard kind of mixed reviews, something that the writing is a bit childish, and some seem to love these, so we'll see how I like these. But the basic premise of these books is that there's this girl who hasn't told any of her crushes that she likes them, and instead she's been writing them these letters. And one day she discovers that all these letters have been sent out to the crushes, and mayhem ensues, I suppose. I also got To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, which I've never read, and I got the sequel, prequel, Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee as well, because I need to know what the hype is all about. Then I got a couple of books by J.A. Ward, which is my personal paranormal romance favorite author. I got The Shadows, which I think is it the 13th or 14th book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. And I got the hardcover this time, even though all the other books I have are paperbacks, because I just really like this a lot more than the yellow cover of the paperback, and the inside flap is really cool as well. So I got that one, and I also got her new book, the Bourbon Kings, which I think it's contemporary, but I'm not sure. It could be historical as well. Something about this family owning like a bourbon factory or something, and a forbidden romance between the son of the Bourbon dynasty and a gardener or something. I don't know. Kind of mixed reviews. Not sure how I like it, but J.A. Ward, so I had to get it. I also got The Bone Gap by Laura Ruby, which I suppose this is magical realism. The plotline sounds really weird. There's like gaps to trip people up and stuff, and then people disappearing, I think. But I saw Victoria Schwab reading this, and I think quite enjoying it, so I'm interested enough to read this. Then I got The Stars Never Rise by Rachel Vincent. Really nice cover on this one as well. There's some soul-consuming demons and some weird church, I think, committing these brutal crimes. I don't know. Some dystopian. And yeah, I just wanted to get this. Then I got the Golden Specific by S.C. Grow, which is the sequel for the Class Sentence, which came out last year. I think this is middle grade series, and unfortunately the second book cover is just a plain old cover, because the first book was really cool. It's kind of see-through. I'm not sure if it comes out on camera that well, but yeah, I really like the cover of the first one. The basic idea of the Class Sentence series, I'm not sure if it has some other name for the series, but yeah, is that there's been this great disruption, and basically all the countries in the world are living in a different in different eras. So the plotline definitely sounds really original, so I'm looking forward to reading them. Then moving on to the books I bought with my birthday money. First book I bought in September was Tonight the Streets Are Ours by Leila Sales. Leila Sales? I'm not sure. I'm currently reading this, and it tells about this girl who's kind of too loyal, I suppose, to her friends, and I haven't gotten that far yet, but I think she ends up discovering this blog of this guy and kind of feels that he's her kindred spirit and decides to take a road trip to see him, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I really like this cover as well because it's purple and pink, and those are two of my favorite colors. So then I bought Boy Snowbird by Helen Oyemi. Again, this is, I think, oh, where's the light gone? Again, I think this is magical realism. There's some sort of family secret, and when the boy brings Bird into their lives, suddenly that secret is out. So we'll see what happens. But also I got Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Another book that many booktubers have read and loved. So I finally decided to get it. It follows these two teenagers who are friends, and the other one leaves for States, but the other one is not allowed after the 9/11 strikes, and then I think they end up meeting years later and we'll know what's happened to them. And I've heard really great things about this, so I'm definitely excited to read this. I also got two more Penguin Drop Gap classics. So I have a collection now. I got the Creek Coffin Mystery by Ellery Queen, which has been described as the Sherlock Holmes version of the US or something, I think. And the Creek Coffin Mystery is supposed to be one of the most popular Ellery Queen crime novels. It says the Ellery Queen is actually the pen name for two cousins from Brooklyn, so it's not an actual author, but Ellery Queen is like the detective researching the crime, so, but I think all of these have been written under the name of Ellery Queen, so. And also got V.B. Yeats's When You Are Old, Early Poems and Fairy Tales. Then I got a few Penguin classics. I got North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell because I really enjoyed Elizabeth Gaskell's Old Nurse's story in the Little Black Classics, so I want to read more from her, and this is where I'm starting from. Then I got The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. I think this one as well is some sort of crime story. Multiple narrators and reconstruction of the crime, red herrings and locked room puzzle. There's some sort of large Indian diamond and a curse. The last one I bought was Silas Marner by George Eliot. The story of an isolated man who learns to open his heart. And it's not that long, so hopefully I get to it soon. And then I also got Landline by Rainbow Rowell, which I think is currently the only book from her I haven't read yet. But Carry On is coming out next week, I think, so then there's two. But Landline is her adult fiction, and I found the new UK edition of this book, so I got it because I wanted this single coloured one, not the US one where it's kind of divided in half in yellow and pink. I like this one more. But yeah, I've really enjoyed her books before, so I'm looking forward to reading this as well. I bought another Penguin leatherbound classic, which is The Odyssey by Homer. Not sure if I read this anytime soon. It's like the ancient mythology kind of written in verse or poetry, I think, or epic, I don't know, but probably really hard to get through, at least for me, but I like the book, and I have 3 of these now. Then from the sales, I got Vixen by Rosie Garland. This was €1 or €2, I think, and I saw Jennifer Campbell recommending this on her BookTube channel, or hauling this on her BookTube channel a few weeks ago. So I'm interested to read this, and I think this again is magic realism, but I'm not sure. The cover is absolutely gorgeous, and it was really cheap, so I got it. And also I got the sequel for The Rivers of London, which I'm currently reading, which is Moon over Soho. London is dancing to a darker tune, and I've so far enjoyed The Rivers of London quite a lot, so I decided to get the sequel as well. Also I got A Spool of Blue Thread by Anne Tyler, which I've been wanting to read a really long time, like ever since I saw it in the bookshops weeks ago. Even more so now that it's I think shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize. Really excited to get to this novel, and I've heard really great things about it. And the last one I got for my birthday is The Gracekeepers by Kirsty Logan. I've heard this is quite similar to the Night Circus. I can't remember the author now for Night Circus. Erin Morgenstern. And yeah, about a circus, so I couldn't resist. And look at the cover, oh my god. And without the flap as well. You've probably seen this already, but it is absolutely gorgeous. So I had to get it. And the map as well. Very excited. I got several new of the little black classic ones. I got A Modest Proposal by Jonathan Swift, Graphic by John Ruskin, Aphorism on Love and Hate by Friedrich Nietzsche, On Murder Considered as One of the Fine Arts by Thomas de Quincey, A Hippo Banquet by Mary Kingsley, How We Weep and Laugh at the Same Thing by Michel de Montaigne, I don't know. The Great Winglebury Duel by Charles Dickens, The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, Great Fire of London by Samuel Pepys, Lips Too Chilled by Matsuo Basho, Come Close by Sappho, and Woman Much Missed by Thomas Hardy. And yeah, I just really love this because if you're not familiar with the classic authors, you can just read one of these and see if you like it, and then decide to buy like the bigger books. And they just started to stock these in my local bookshop, so I'm sure to buy more of these because they're so cheap as well. Like the UK price is 80p, and in Finland they cost a bit under €2. I bought another Goosebumps book from the flea market. I've read these when I was a kid, and I tried to collect these now, so yes. Then I got this book from like this shop, from this shop close to our summer cottage, which sells like literally everything you can think about, basically. And the original title of this book is Accidental Genius, the World's Greatest By Chance Discoveries, which is exactly what it sounds like. So it's discoveries that happened by accident, and you know, like antibiotics and that sort of thing. And I just find that really interesting, so I got it. I also got Trigger Warning by Neil Gaiman from my friend, who was kind enough to give this to me after he had like read it, because apparently he doesn't give books after he's read them. Like, what's up with that? I'm not complaining though, because I'm a huge fan of Neil Gaiman, and yeah, my friend was nice enough to give this to me, so yes, I'll be reading it soon. Another book I got is this coffee table book about coffee. And it says it's the Great Finnish Passion. And here's a fun fact for you. The average Finnish drinks approximately 160 liters of coffee per year. which is 10 kilos of ground coffee. So we drink loads and loads of coffee. Coffee to Finnish people is like tea for the English people. So I got Nimona by Noel Stevenson, which is about this shapeshifter girl who wants to work for the most evil villain in the world. And I really like this. The humor is really funny, but the font in the graphic novel is quite tiny. But if you can deal with that, then I highly recommend this. It started out as a webcomic and was turned into this graphic novel, and I really enjoyed it. Also, I got the second volume in the Wicked and the Divine series, which is called Pandemonium. It's about these gods who come to Earth and they live like a couple of years, I think, before they die. And the first volume was a kind of confusing, but the artwork in this is so good. It is absolutely stunning. I also got the second volume in the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman, which is The Doll's House. Really creepy and dark, really different to the usual graphic novels I read as well, but I really enjoyed this, and it's Neil Gaiman, so yeah, giving this a go. Also I got Alex and Ada, the first volume in this series by Jonathan Luna and Sarah Vaughan. I already read this, I gave this 3 stars. It's a bit like the films, was it Robot Life? Artificial Intelligence, something like that. So there's robots and they kind of work as servants for humans, because when they were like conscious of their own doing, they started to rebel against the humans and that sort of thing. But the main character who gets this robot girl wants to give her her own thoughts. And got Witches by Snyder, Jock, Hollingsworth and Robbins, Volume 1. And this one looks like really creepy as well, kind of like a Blair Witch Project type of thing. There's some witches in the woods and stuff. Perhaps I'll read this around Halloween, maybe. The graphic style is pretty dark. But yeah, looks really good. So then also I got Lumberjanes by Stevenson, Ellis, Waters and Allen. Beware the Kids and Holy, and I think it's about these girls who go to some sort of camp and it says friendship to the max, and there's some sort of monsters lurking in the forest, and it looks super fun. The art style is a bit like more what I would probably see in like children's graphic novels. I don't know, like more colorful and round. But I'm interested to read this because Stevenson is the one that made Nimona, so hopefully I'll enjoy this one as well. The last one I bought from States is Once Upon a Time graphic novel, which I've been looking for ages, and yeah, I still haven't read this, but I think these are sort of like additional stories to the TV show, so you learn more about the characters in that one. And look at this graphic novel under the flap. It looks like the book from the TV show. So cool. And I'm really excited to read it. So yesterday I bought 3 more graphic novels when I went to town. The first one I got is Lock and Key by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. And again, I think this is like really creepy kind of graphic novel. Probably perfect for Halloween, and I think it said it's recommended for mature readers only. So it says it tells about Key House, an unlikely New England mansion with fantastic doors that transform all who dare to walk through them. and a home to hate-filled and relentless creature that will not rest until it forces open the most terrible door of them all. And yeah, I've heard great things about this, so I'm pretty excited to get to this. Another one I bought is The Outcast, Volume 1, A Darkness Surrounds Him. This is from the creator of The Walking Dead, so there's some sort of demons and possession, and I don't know. I really like the cover, so I got this one. I buy graphic novels based on the covers loads, so yeah, we'll see how I like this. This is Image graphic novel, so hopefully it will be good. And the last one, perhaps the most exciting one of the graphic novels, which I've been looking for weeks now. I got Saga Volume 5. I've been waiting for this for ages. This is so good, and if you haven't got on Saga yet, what are you waiting for? Seriously. It's kind of like this Star Wars slash relationship drama, like with all sorts of stuff happening, and the artwork is really nice. I enjoy it a lot, and the plotline just so gripping. Like, this is what got me started on the graphic novels. I didn't think that I would enjoy it so much, but it's just so good, and you should definitely get on this. I think that's all the books, like the physical books I have. I do have a couple I bought on iPad and on my phone. I got Paperweight by Meg Haston, which is about a girl with an eating disorder. I got We Should Hang Out Sometime by Josh Sundquist, which I think it's like real life stories about his dating life and what's gone wrong with the dates and stuff. So it should be funny. And the last one I got is The Last Leaves Falling by Sarah Benwell, which is a book about the ALS disease. And that's really interesting because I've never seen books about that before. And the books I got on my phone, The Return by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is the spin-off, first book in the spin-off series to the Covenant series, and Every Last Breath by Jennifer L. Armentrout as well, which is the last book in the Dark Element series. And I've read both of those, and I enjoyed Every Last Breath a lot more than the Titan. But I talked about them in my wrap-up, so if you're interested to see more about them, then go ahead and check that out. That's it for this book haul. I hope you enjoyed this second part. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!